I'm so grateful for another day to help stimulate the mental. Time to strategize, huddle up, where's your circle? I can feel the moment radiate through the convo. Talk is cheap, turn your faith into work. I drink my second cup and put my hands in the dirt. 2 cups, drinking straight drip from the earth. Caffeinated conversations, you heard them here first. One for the wake up. One for the wake up. Two for the work. Caffeinated conversations, you heard them here first. Welcome back to Two Cups Cafe, where I'm your host, Alan C. Jackson. Who I have coming through for a high-quality caffeinated conversation today is my good friend, Shaun Tucker. What's up, Shaun?
What's up, Al? How you doing, brother?
Man, good, man. I'm just so glad, man, you came, man, and joined me, man. Been knowing you way back in the day, many years ago, kind of like in your college years, grew up in the same area, knew a lot of the same people. But man, I'm just so interested, man, in the life that you've just forged for yourself and things that you've been doing outside of the box of what, I've been used to or how I grew up, how I look at things, and just getting what you just inspired me just for the short time we've been talking and just some of the things that I heard you've been doing, man. I just want to just take it back to the beginning, and then we're going to get into where we are today.
I appreciate that. Good to be here.
No doubt.
I consider you a brother. Your brother is my line brother, my Sands in our fraternity.
Yes.
And you became a brother.
Yes,
and that was 32 years ago.
Yeah.
So coming full circle, me moving back to Toledo and just being able to reconnect. And that's part of what I wanted to chat about today too, just how everything came full circle and me coming back home and restoration of family and relationships and friendships and brotherhood, to be honest. So
for sure.
It's good to be back, brother.
Oh man, no doubt. So let's take it back, man. It's how you grew up, where you single parent family, how you grew up, things that interest you growing up, and then we're gonna transition to the college years and then beyond.
That's what's up. Yeah, man. Grew up here in Toledo. A product of the Central City.
Yes, sir.
Graduate of Toledo Public Schools.
Okay.
Grew up initially on Woodruff in Detroit.
Woodruff in Detroit?
Woodruff in Detroit. Lincoln Elementary through 3rd grade, K through 3rd. It's an amazing experience because both my grandparents, my mom, she was a young mom. She was 19 when she had me. Had just turned 19. And so she's trying to figure out life, and she did the best job. I mean, great. It's funny how we don't realize that we actually had a great childhood.
Right.
We look back, right? And so I had a mom who was young, but a mom who was, I think, pretty mature. Like, she didn't go out and do all the partying and drinking, but at the same time, being young, my grandparents offered that support. So I lived at Woodruff, where they still live, and they're 87, 88 years old.
Your grandparents?
Yeah, so grew up right there, went to Lincoln, and the key is both my grandparents were in a school.
Okay.
So my granddad was the boilermaker at Lincoln, down the steps, and my grandma was a reading teacher there too. So I couldn't do anything wrong.
So you get your hair cut at Port Clark's back then?
It's funny. I didn't go to Port Clark's. Well, yeah, I did go to Port Clark's, but who cut my hair? I remember probably in middle school, high school, one of my good friends still today, Clyde Kennard, his dad. Scoop. His dad, Clyde Senior, was my barber. But I went to Port Clark's, I think, in the beginning. Yeah. Because it's right next door to Lincoln, too.
Right, exactly. And, that's why I brought that up. I used to go to Cannon's.
Oh,
on
Cannon,
the other side of the street, Old Man Cannon back then.
Yeah, Old Man Cannon, yep. So that's my neighborhood. Grew up there until I was 7. Then moved to Cambridge, which is on the corner of, like, Central and Collingwood. Yeah. So grew up there. And that shaped exactly who I am today. And just me coming back and me having that same Toledo tough, and not tough as in like fighting, but just you're going to Columbus and going to DC and traveling abroad and doing political work. Right. Just having that thicker skin and being able having that grit.
Yes, sir.
And wanting to get stuff done and figuring out a way to get things done, right? And so also when I say it shaped who I am, a lot of the stuff that I saw and again, great childhood,
Mm-hmm.
but wanted to change my community. That's how I got
Mm,
involved in
yeah.
the political space
Okay.
as an organizer because I saw I wanted to change my community,
Right.
and because I love my community.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So coming up, did you what made you go to the University of Toledo? I know like was that something that you did out of you wanted to stay home, or was that something you did because you didn't know about a lot of other places, or what?
I'm gonna give you the honest answer. It was my mom.
Okay.
I was in high school, and I don't even think I had began to think about, you know,
Where you was going?
where I was going to go.
Okay.
And she's like, "Listen, you got to figure something out." Um, and she guided me through the whole process,
Mm.
like the application
Yeah.
process, the financial aid
Yeah.
process. And if it weren't for her, because I didn't grow up with that model of going to
College,
college,
right.
right? So I wasn't sure. Like my kids now, they know
That's just automatic.
it's just automatic.
Yeah.
But again, that wasn't even an option. So, but my mom knew the importance of education,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's how I ended up there. And it was like, well, there's a college here,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
So
it was the most viable option because I hadn't applied to all the
right,
other out
right.
of state schools. And
Mm-hmm.
like we took my daughter when she was she's a senior in college now, but
Okay.
we did the college tour. We traveled to different states. We went to Chicago
Mm-hmm.
and we visited Northwestern and
Northwestern,
Loyola.
yeah.
Then in route there, they went Purdue,
She was smart.
U Dayton, and we
Yeah.
checked all. We didn't do that whole college tour thing. So that's how I ended up. My mom was like, "You're going to school,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the city we're in.
Yeah.
So this is where you're going to go."
So did you go to? You went to UT.
Mhm.
You so you're not old enough to have went to TU.
That's I'm old enough to remember TU, but it's funny because I believe right when I began going to college,
Uh-huh.
or maybe in high school, that's when people start calling. I think it was a rebranding
Okay, that's
on
what
their
it
own.
was.
So
Yeah.
that's just like saying back in the day, if you remember Comtech as
Yep.
opposed to Scott Park.
Scott Park, yeah.
So yeah, I
No,
remember
yeah,
TU,
but
but
that's
by
what
that
I say.
time I went to UT.
Comtech was on quarters. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? They still had
yeah,
quarters.
man. Yeah,
Parent
yeah,
teacher conference over
yeah.
there,
And
man.
listen, listen.
So I know like you say you joined a fraternity. Like, so when you went to college, did you automatically have a friend group from the city that went with you, or you just kind of like a lone duck and then kind of found your way on campus?
I did.
Mm,
My friends, they all went away
yeah.
to school again
Okay.
because it was expectation for them,
Right.
and so they already knew. One went to Morehouse, three went to Morehouse, um, one went to Wilberforce, and so
Okay.
they all went to HBCUs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because that was the era too where we had
Mm-hmm.
um, a different
Yeah, about to
world,
say we came off the different world
right?
helmet. Yeah, people
So
don't think that's a real
yeah,
spot.
so
Yeah.
right, so that guided a lot of folks. But like, I want to go to HBCU, so they had that figured out. So they went away. So I was really alone. I was like a lone wolf who stayed
Yeah.
home. But it was the best decision because I made some of my best friendships. In fact, I wouldn't be here on this podcast
Yeah.
now
For sure.
if I didn't
No, 100%.
go
Yeah.
to UT.
Yep. I went to back then. I kind of was like an honorary student. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? I hung out with you guys,
you
but
did.
I was working at a grown man job, and then come hang out with y'all. You know
But
what
you
I'm
was
saying?
making the real money. You was making the long money. Al had all the best cars. And I was like, I'm in school. I'm like, man, I'm poor. Al's making long money. Got the old school Chevys,
Yeah.
the classic cars, and everything.
Yeah,
So
man, I was clowning. So man, this so I remember like I said, we hung out. I wasn't actually in school at that time. I did take some courses, sit
mhm.
stands just so everybody knows, I did learn a little something, but
Man, listen, I think that's overrated too. You come out with a ton of debt.
right, no, for sure.
Man,
So
listen.
when you came out of school, like I know there was a space of time to where everybody graduated and started, starting families, doing
Mhm.
careers and things of that nature. So, did you come out of college knowing that you wanted to get involved in the political scene? And I'll be honest, like I spoke to Ray Wood. He was
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
committee man, former NAACP president here locally. But I
Mhm.
had spoke to him like when I was coming up, like politics or just community advocacy, organizing and things of that nature. Didn't know anything about it,
Mm,
and just kind of thought that was for a different space of people.
that's right.
So how did that like? what sparked that? Like, what was it an internship? Was it
Mm,
a, just how did that come about? And exactly what did you do? Because not gonna pretend like I know even some of the terms that we talk about sometimes. I even know what they mean.
sure,
So just kind of
that's
like
right.
we're gonna break it down and we're gonna get real third grade level with me,
Sure.
but I'm pretty sure somebody else will be able to glean from the understanding that we get from those.
And that's a great question. Wow. And it's funny because I've thought about this a lot. I actually thought about I was at a last time I went to a forum in Bowling Green. It was
Okay.
around redistricting because that's happening right now. And I don't want to get into the weeds, but basically drawing the political maps.
Mm-hmm.
So we every 10 years after the census comes out, it determines our population. We have to redraw the lines, right?
Okay.
To because of the amount of people that either left the state or
Mm-hmm.
stayed in the state.
Okay.
And so I began to think about this last night when I was in Bowling Green because there was a young lady in the room. Everyone was older and younger white girl. She's probably not that race matters, but it does.
Mm-hmm.
She was probably in her 20s. I'm guessing she probably went to Bowling Green.
Okay.
And the reason why I mentioned her race is because I was like, this is pretty dope that she's in this room
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of older folks who are already engaged in the political process and care
Okay.
about the districts and how they're drawn.
Right.
And somebody, either she had that initiative
Mm-hmm.
or a mentor that told her to get involved in these spaces early.
Okay. Mm.
I didn't necessarily have that, right?
Okay.
So when I came out of college, I began working at like St. Anthony's Villa,
Oh
which
yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah.
for young
For you,
people,
youth, yeah.
youth. So that
At risk youth.
at-risk
Yeah.
youth,
Yeah.
which I'm still passionate about
Yeah.
training and helping. And then worked at the youth YTC Youth
YCC
Treatment
Youth
Center.
Treatment
So it
Center.
was
Yeah.
sort of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because I didn't have that mentor, even though I knew I wanted to change my community, I have a mentor to say, this is how you go about doing it.
Right.
These are the spaces, these are the rooms, these are the internships, these are the organizations, these are the people you need to connect with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there were people out here that sort of did have that. One of our rest in peace, Jack Ford, our former
Mm-hmm.
mayor of
Yeah.
Toledo,
Yeah.
was a mentor and got a lot of my friends who were in those spaces,
Mm.
who are now county commissioners, former
Okay.
mayors, former um, elected officials at the state level, Ohio treasurer,
Wow.
lobbyists. And
Yeah.
so he did a wonderful job of training that, but I wasn't at that time engaged or in that particular
In that
space. And
space.
so
Okay.
I took the roundabout way into
Okay.
get because I cared again, but it wasn't until I was in my mid to late 20s that I
Okay.
got involved in a political space, and that was organizing.
Yeah.
So it was a group out of Washington, a national group called Children's Defense Fund,
Okay.
started by Marianne Wright Edelman.
Mm.
She's a legend, icon, but organizing around children's issues. So
Right.
and issues of families and mothers. So
Right.
like TANF, childcare, making sure that children and families had quality and
Mm-hmm.
affordable child preschool,
Yeah.
right?
TANF. I've heard that
Mm-hmm.
that term because
Mm-hmm.
the space I work in. Some of our children they had TANF and
Mm-hmm.
Chaffee funds that they used to channel to them to be able to purchase extra things. So okay,
That's right.
that's
So that's
interesting.
how I got involved. Was just
Okay.
organizing around children's issues
Now,
and
when you say organizing,
mhm,
like I know I've heard that term, even though when I know President Obama has started as an organizer and
it
stuff like
was
that. But what does really organizing mean? Does that
right.
mean you just hey everybody huddle up, let's get together, and
Yeah,
like come on, like tell me,
yeah,
like I don't know,
right.
like what's organizing mean? Like
And that great question again. And that's probably the best way to get into a political space is by doing organizing because
okay,
usually organizers are young, full of energy,
mm-hmm,
and truly what it is organizing a group of like-minded people
okay,
to care about a particular issue,
mm,
right? So the issue could be clean air.
okay,
It could be access to quality and affordable food in our neighborhoods,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so you just organize, you bring people together to have a collective voice.
okay,
So you can, because it's two ways to influence power
okay,
in the political space, I believe. One is through money.
right,
They,
right, yeah,
the
money,
lobbyists give a good number of dollars to both political parties.
Okay.
Um, and the other one is about power and people.
Mm.
So organizing, that's what it does. It brings groups of people together. So imagine this: we want, we want, I don't know, at the very local micro level, we want better regulations on speeders in our neighborhoods,
Okay.
right? So we want speed bumps. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go door to door, knock on door, and talk about the importance of keeping children
Safe.
safe.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have a community meeting at the Mott Branch Library
Mm-hmm.
at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. So you bring people out and talk about the importance. Maybe have people sign a signature,
Mm-hmm.
because again, politicians, they care. I shouldn't say the only thing. If you're a good politician, I call you a public servant.
Okay.
But you're either influenced by either dollars or votes.
Or votes.
And
Okay. Yeah.
so I know, for instance, if you only won the last election by 745 votes,
Mm-hmm.
I can organize people in your district. I can organize 2,000 people to really put
Now I got pressure on
pressure
you.
on you to change your position to
Mm-hmm.
either this or that. So it's really just helping to move the needle.
Yeah.
Organizers are just almost like herding cats. You're just
Mm-hmm.
getting people together who care, or
Yeah.
moving people to a place where they do care
Mm-hmm.
about a particular issue. And
So
that's it.
so now when you initially began organizing, did you was it more about getting the people together? Did you have to pay attention to like party lines, or was it a different socioeconomic thing you target? Like, how do you go about that?
Yeah, I like to say that you have to be smart about it. Instead of throwing darts at a dartboard,
Mm-hmm.
you want to look at numbers. You want to look at data,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to say, okay, um, for instance, I'm going to get very granular, but you look and say 13F, say that's a precinct.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, wow, I see that it was X amount of people who voted in this particular precinct during the last election.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can move the needle and increase it by 200 or 300 people. And so, what you do is you ask, was it Democrat or Republican?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that matters. You
Okay.
just get people to a space where, because I think the Democrats and Republicans, that's a label. But
Mm-hmm.
if you coalesce on a particular issue,
Right.
then you can be both. You can have Democrats who, yeah, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
we believe in,
Yeah.
like for instance, everybody wants good quality schools, right?
Right. Right.
Democrats and Republicans.
Right.
But it's just about how do we get there.
Right.
So I
Definitely.
don't think it has to have the party label necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but you want to be able to get everybody to agree
Mm.
that we all want better schools.
Right.
And how did the organizer get people to coalesce or to come together
Mm.
around better quality schools?
So there's definitely a strategy
Yeah.
to the organization. It's not just a what you call that, just a clarion call. This is what it is, but it's targeted in a sense to where you have a specific number of people you're trying to reach, a specific like you said when you got granular with it. Like I know where these people are, and I got to figure out how do I get them to be aware of what's going on, and then to get the message to the point to where, like you said, everybody wants their children safe, everybody wants good education, everybody wants quality, food and,
That's
and
right.
water and air. Like, but how do I bring the message across? And so how do you? So tell me, like, how do people get caught in the weeds of? Is it that they don't the message they like certain parts of the messages, but then they had to now they got to decide like if I'm going to support him because now he works with them
That's
and
right.
they work with them and they backed
That's
by
right.
them.
That's
So,
right.
man.
It is a lot of nuances, right? So you think about, well, I do want it, but I can't. And Alan Jackson, believes
Mm-hmm.
as the city council member, but can I really support him?
Right.
And when people really get hung up on that, I think that's where, we go wrong.
Now
If
we
I
get
can,
stagnant.
right.
Yeah.
So my opinion, let's support, you know, um, someone if they're where I am on that particular issue. Now, I won't compromise my values. So, say for instance, this person, I don't know, they were bad on 90% of other issues that I care about, then I may have to think about that.
Yeah, yeah. So you
Right.
might not be the one that carry that cause for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like I
right.
want to back it, but I can't back you. But
Sure.
now I gotta see somebody come along that that I can back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a lot of people who are
Mm.
organizers who've gotten it. As a matter of fact, we talked about the best or most famous example
Mm-hmm.
in Obama. But if you
Right.
think about it, Dr. King was an organizer.
Yeah.
He was a pastor. He was a Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Mm-hmm.
We can go on and name all the things that he was, but think about to get that many people
Right.
at a particular location at a particular time
Mm-hmm.
to care about an issue, and that's how the Voting Rights Act of 1964, 1965 passed, is because they were organizers. They
Mm.
got people together. So that's
Right.
actually probably the most famous example after or even before Obama
Yeah.
that I can think of in terms of being an
Being an
organizer.
organizer.
Yeah.
So you was in Washington. Like, how long did you do that? Your first stint at organization, and then what did that lead into next?
Wow. So just because the issues that I was organizing around,
Mm-hmm.
then I moved on to a more left leaning
Okay.
political organization called People for the American Way.
Okay.
And we began to organize around more political um, positions. Like
Okay.
at that time, it was like Supreme Court issues. And
Mm.
so I think it was Supreme Court Justice Alito and Roberts at
Okay.
the time. So they were, in our opinion, bad for um, bad for the communities that we cared about,
Mm-hmm.
or bad for folks who look just like you and I.
Mm-hmm.
And even though they say judges or justice is blind,
Right.
and
Yeah.
people could take a conservative approach,
Mm-hmm.
or they could take a more liberal approach or a more moderate approach. And
Mm-hmm.
so I began to organize around like Supreme Court issues and began to organize around. So this is one of my best examples. I'm gonna give two when I was with People for the American Way.
Okay.
It was a lady. Her name is Ann Coulter,
Okay.
and very evil, very vile, bad stuff. And she's still out
Mm.
there.
Okay.
And she was anti, like LGBTQ.
Mm-hmm.
She was anti almost everything that my friend group
Mm-hmm.
cared about and
Okay.
myself cared about. And so we went to she was doing a speaking engagement at Xavier University in Cincinnati,
Mm-hmm.
and we said, let's do something to organize and to raise what she's getting paid to speak here. I think it was like $30,000.
Mm.
Let's raise more than her speaking fee. Let's do an event where we're loud, noisy,
Mm-hmm.
boisterous outside of where she's speaking, and donate the I don't know, maybe we raise 32,000
Yeah.
and give that to organizations on campus that believe in diversity,
Mm-hmm.
equity, and inclusion,
Okay.
which now seems like it's a dirty word
Right.
in
Right. Right. Right.
America.
Right.
Like America doesn't believe in diversity anymore. But
Right.
we organized around. I'm sorry, we donated our money to, I believe at the time, it was like the Black Student Union,
Okay.
and maybe Stonewall organization, which is organization for the LGBTQ community. And
Okay.
so we donated checks to them to help them on campus, support the
Mm.
organizations on campus.
Okay.
So I was with that organization, People for the American Way. And then because I was in political spaces, began to run city council campaigns. So I
Mm.
managed
Okay.
city council races in
Yeah.
Columbus, and 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 again, that's like organizing, because what you're doing is you're just getting people to want to support your candidate,
Yeah.
who you're managing the campaign for.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and I can go down the line of how my trajectory got me from, I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
belabor this, but how I got from there organizing
Mm-hmm.
to becoming a lobbyist,
Right.
political operative, and just in some pretty dope
Yeah.
spaces.
Let's dig into that because I think you come from organizing to lobbying, and what's the last one you said?
Oh, political operative.
For the political operative. Like let's put some legs on those because I believe that it's a generation like coming behind us that with with social media, internet, the world has gotten so much smaller. But I think that still our communities are still really at the core of everything that we do. But communities are changing now because you
Hmm.
have online communities,
Man.
you have you know school, like that's a community, or universities, or these different spaces that they're communities. But like where we came from, like we grew up in like neighborhoods, and a lot of things that were important to us, like in our neighborhoods, like how do you take that like and put that on a bigger scale? So if we talk about lobbying, like at its core, like what's like the definite working definition of being like a lobbyist?
I think that, and it gets such a bad name.
Yeah, because they make it like sound like you just you just get money
Hmm.
to control the
Right.
politicians.
That's exactly right. Like you're buying,
Yeah, buying votes or
buying
buying
vote,
influence.
buying influence.
Yeah,
That's right. That's
yeah.
exactly right. Buying influence, and to a certain extent, that's true because
Hmm.
candidates doesn't have to raise dollars to run campaigns, to pay
Okay.
for the yard signs, to pay
Hmm.
for the campaign ads that you see on
Yeah.
television, to pay for the radio time, to pay in order to get their message out, right?
Okay.
So lobbyists do give money, but if you're working on issues that, in my opinion, issues that are important,
Hmm.
then you could be a good lobbyist, or another term would be government affairs or government relations. And
Okay.
so,
Government
but
relations.
really, what it is, the working definition is um, it's bringing a group,
Hmm.
whether special interest or whatever, and connecting that particular group or business
Hmm.
to elected officials or policymakers.
Okay. Okay.
And so, do lobbyists give money? Yes, but simultaneously, and some lobbyists actually write legislation for,
Oh.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
for the politicians.
So they
But
get the money, and they also got some, like, check this out.
yeah, yeah, they'll write the legislation because
Okay.
a lot of lobbyists are attorneys, and so
Mm.
they'll write the legislation. But in my estimation, it's just helping to bring someone who may not recognize they have a voice
Yeah.
in touch with a particular lawmaker,
Mm, okay.
right? So let me give you an example. So last week we were in, and I actually was in Columbus yesterday, got back, but last week it was a Senate hearing, and the week before a House hearing
Okay.
on something that I care about, and I think that a lot of Republicans and Democrats can coalesce or agree on,
Hmm.
and this is age verification. It's really providing a safe space for children on the internet. And what I mean by that
Mm.
is my son doesn't watch YouTube anymore
Okay.
because when he was watching it at like 5, he was watching like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Hmm.
Then it went down a rabbit hole. So the next video was Mickey Mouse robbing somebody or
Mm.
Mickey
Okay.
Mouse
Okay.
in a
Okay.
compromising position. And
Right.
so what this does, and I don't want to, say, hey, this is House Bill 302, which I just gave the number, but
That's all
so
right.
and so I believe in putting those guardrails in
On the
place
internet, yeah.
so that we can keep our children safe. And so what we were able to do is to get from a faith-based or a spiritual leader perspective,
Hmm.
was able to get some pastors
Okay.
to go and provide testimony in both the House and the Senate.
Okay.
So in-person testimony.
Yeah.
And so what this does is it brings a voice of morality. So
Mm.
lobbyists could do that too. They can testify on different bills,
Mm.
or they can, grab somebody who may tug at the heartstrings because they can be from that same particular
Yeah.
region that lawmakers from, or they can be of the same faith that they're from.
Mm.
And so just getting somebody in front of them who may be able to move the needle a little bit. So that's
Wow.
really what it is.
Right.
Is I like to say, it's if you have relationships in place in a political spectrum,
Hmm.
is providing access to those
Yeah.
who don't have the access. Everybody has access because they're
Right.
elected,
Hmm.
but they don't know how to get from A to Z.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
that's it.
Yeah. So, what are some key areas, like just as you as uh I guess a father and a man first, then a person of color, like what are some things that inform you on, or what's your passion that you would like to see, like outside of, say, mainstream, just overarching laws and things, but like what are some things that if they come up, that gets your attention right away?
Wow. again, a couple of different things. I think that one is mental health,
Okay.
particularly in our communities, the community where I grew up,
Mm-hmm.
the community, quite honestly, where I moved back to after I moved back to Toledo after
Yeah.
27 years in Columbus, because I wanted to be a figure
Mm-hmm.
in that community to help change. And so
Okay.
mental health, because think about a lot of people may be a lot of young people may be
Mm-hmm.
undiagnosed,
Right.
PTSD,
Misdiagnosed sometimes too. Yeah.
anxiety, depression.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the new sexy term is neurodivergent, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so, which I am,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it formed, or I'm sorry, it made up a lot of my younger years,
Okay.
a lot of the anger, if you
Yeah.
will,
Yeah.
a lot of the
Explosive. Yeah.
frustration,
Frustration.
right?
Yeah.
Because you didn't realize that you had ADHD, you didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize you had anxiety, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, kids may lash out.
Mm-hmm. Cause
It's
nigga,
not.
every time the teacher, why every time the teacher asks him to read, he gonna flip the desk.
That's right.
Like, what you mad about?
That's right.
He can't read. No, he might can read, just don't, just something raised
He may
up.
be dyslexic,
Yeah.
right? My
Mm-hmm.
11-year-old son still mixes a B with a D.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is, the teacher was like, you don't spell this like that. And then you get frustrated because you're embarrassed now. And
Mm-hmm.
so just getting the right resources in
Yeah.
place. Because I was like talking to my mom, and I love my mom. I was like, "Ma, I wish I'd have discovered this at a younger age." She's like, "Well, we just said no because people just throw you in special ed classes
Yep.
and think
Yep.
think something's wrong with you,
Yep.
right?" And that's what they knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't say, "Well, this person is talking too much because
Right.
they have ADHD because their
Wheels
mind is
turning.
spinning
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
100 miles an hour,
Yeah.
right?" But
But you might not pay it back in the day. You don't pay attention. You know, your mama just
right,
pop you in the back of
that's
the
right.
head.
So I didn't mean to pivot, but you
No,
asked
it's
what
all
are some
right.
of the
Yeah,
issues that
for
I'm
sure.
concerned
For
about
sure.
that impact and I'm sorry, influence where I am
Yes.
and what do I care about. Mental health is probably the number one piece.
Okay.
Is just making sure that kids who look just like kids who come
Mm-hmm.
from the same communities I came from, get the help and resources that
Mm-hmm.
they need.
Yeah.
And not to say, well, we overdiagnoses and medicating black boys. Well, let's not use that old narrative.
Right.
Let's get people the help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And another piece is voting rights,
Voting
and to make
rights.
sure that we all have access to free, fair, open, and honest elections.
See, now I hear that a lot. Like maybe because like I said, I exist in a smaller space. Like like I couldn't vote. So what does that mean? Like when you talk about fair, you know what I'm saying? Voting rights.
I go into the weeds a little bit. All right. So,
Yeah.
for instance, last year in 2024, this Ohio Secretary of State purged about 160,000 people from the voter rolls.
Mm.
So, if you don't vote in two federal elections,
Right.
they can purge you.
Okay.
It was, in my estimation, a way to
Limit the amount of.
limit the amount of people who vote,
Okay.
because it's a narrative, particularly on the right. If we reduce, and this is actually on video by
Mm-hmm.
some operatives, if we reduce the amount of people who are voting, then we can win elections.
Mm.
What I want to do is make sure we have as many people as possible
Right.
voting. We don't want to go back to the literacy test
Mm-hmm.
or how many beans are in a jar to vote. No, if you're a citizen,
They used to have a literacy test with that.
yeah.
I didn't know
During
that.
Jim Crow,
Yeah.
absolutely. There was a literacy test. There were tests how many beans are in this jar in order to vote. And so that's why the term is voter suppression. So in a lot of African American predominant communities, they
Mm-hmm.
did absolutely use literacy tests
Mm.
to determine if you can vote or not. Because again, there are people who don't want, because if everyone truly voted, then I think our election outcomes would look a little bit different than they do today.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I want to make sure everybody has a voice. So let me circle back to the 100 and I think it's 160,000. So excuse me if I'm off a little bit, but
No.
it was
No. For sure.
approximate. When I found out, I got the purge list from Lucas County
Mm-hmm.
about a week or two ago. I was just looking over it, and because it's public, this is on the Secretary of State's website.
Okay.
They purged about 40,000 residents. And so
In Lucas County.
that's about a quarter of the people statewide that were purged came from Lucas County.
Wow.
So guess what? Now, if you go vote in this election, you
Mm.
may not be able to vote because your name was taken off the list, whereas you may not have even known
Right.
that because maybe it's a transient population, maybe you moved,
Mm-hmm.
and you just don't know that you were kicked off the voter roll. So I just want Voting rights and mental health are
Mental
probably two
health.
of the things that I care about personally the most.
Yeah, yeah. Man, that's rich, man. So this is it's Two Cups Cafe, man. Like it's one for the wake, one for the work. And so the first cup is always about, just gratitude. What's waking you up in the morning? What are you grateful for? What are you motivated by? What are you dreaming about? Like what is that? That's my period where I
Mm,
just come in and just think about what's pushing your day or what's pushing your focus. And then the second cup is the work. Like what
mm,
steps am I taking, to get to that expected end, right?
mm,
So I hear like, man, you're doing some great things, but like now though, like looking forward, like as what you're doing now, like what are you looking forward to, or what are you dreaming about doing, or what's motivating you, or like where are you trying to get to you
mm.
know, with the path that you're on now?
Yeah, it's funny because the thing that motivates me, and it's not funny, but I'm going to jump to what's funny.
Hmm.
But what motivates me are my two children. I have a
Yes.
21-year-old daughter. She's a senior at the Ohio State University, and so I had to throw that in there.
Sorry, I'll give you
No,
that
no,
one. I'll give
sorry.
you that one.
And then a son who's 11, and I moved back to Toledo again after 27 years this
Hmm.
March because of my 11-year-old son.
Yeah.
And so that's what keeps me going. That's what motivates me. Um, Me and my ex-wife, his mom, we have
Hmm.
an amazing co-parenting relationship. But I wanted to come here and be in Toledo specifically because we would meet every other Friday after school,
Hmm.
halfway in Upper Sandusky,
Yeah.
do the exchange, and on Sunday exchange again. And he goes to school. And so a dear friend of mine, best friend, told me, he said, listen, boys do what they want to do, men do what they got to do. And so I
Mm.
was like, well, listen, I want to see my son every day,
Yeah.
even though I talk to him every day, be able to
Yeah.
take him to football practice. So that's really what motivates me, and to
Yeah.
make sure both
Hmm.
my daughter and my son are good human
Yes,
beings.
sir. Yes, sir.
And so what I mean by that, people who don't punch down on people who
Hmm.
are lesser than. You use the word gratitude, that you wake up with gratitude
Yes, sir.
and be thankful, and that you are seen as a person who is kind,
Hmm.
who is humble. I mean, not to be pushed over, because I
Hmm.
don't think that, that you have to be kind and
Yeah, it'll make you a
passive.
doormat.
It doesn't
Yeah.
make you a doormat,
Yeah, for
exactly.
sure.
But that's what motivates me, just making sure that. And then the other thing that motivates me is to make sure that if I came back here, to make sure that I am helping to make a difference. And that sounds
Mm.
cliche, but I really do
No, for
mean that.
sure.
Make a difference in the community that I came from.
Yeah.
And because I could have came down here, I still get my Zillow um, notifications every day. I've met
Hmm.
with a realtor. I could have moved to a different community,
Community.
but I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that if I'm moving back here, let me go back and at least give back,
Yeah.
and to be a helpmate
Hmm.
to folks who are already doing the work, not to come in and take over and
Yeah.
say, hey,
Yeah. I just came from the capital. You listen to me.
that's
Yeah.
right.
I feel
No,
it.
seriously.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people do think like that.
Hmm.
And I even had to be humble when I came back. I had a humbling experience where I came back with this, I'm coming from Columbus, or I've
Hmm.
done political work in DC,
Yeah.
um, sort of attitude. And I had to realize that Toledo is different in a good way,
Hmm.
because we are more humble.
Mm.
And that's where I come from. So
Mm.
I'm coming back to lend a hand. How can I
Yes,
be of
sir.
assistance? How can I,
Yeah.
through your podcast, how can I help raise my voice
Hmm.
and to get other like-minded people together, and
Yeah.
help change communities?
No, I love that,
Yeah.
man. I love that. I
Mm,
know I would like to see, like, just talking to you, like I work with teenage boys, right?
mm,
So they have all of what we just talked about. I mean, American government, right? It's a semester in
mm.
high school.
It's only a semester.
Yeah, it's only a semester.
You got.
and and I knew, like, in high school
Mm,
we hated government.
mm-hmm,
Like, just because they try to cram everything, like,
mm-hmm,
from Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the
mm-hmm,
executive, legislative branch.
mm-hmm,
All they jam all that stuff together
mm-hmm,
in a semester.
mm-hmm.
And when you get out of it, you just glad you survived it for
That's
real,
right.
So
That's
I
right.
would like to see, like, people like yourself. I mean, you specifically, because I know you,
Sure.
be able to, me and you sit down or get some other people around the table, and how can we raise awareness with the children or the teenagers to let them understand like why voting is important or why being informed on community is important, because a lot of times I used to have an attitude to where like I can't, it was like throwing a rock, a pebble in a
Mm.
river. I can't affect that with this
Mm.
rock, this pebble. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
get it. Yep.
so it's like I didn't pay no attention. I'm like, I gotta go to work. I gotta
Hmm.
pay my bills. Whatever they do is what they do. But then you find out years later, different policies and different,
Hmm.
uh, uh, how you say, agreements that
Hmm.
politicians make. Now it's like, oh, this place is closing down because they took
Hmm.
those jobs and put them over here,
That's right.
or the price of this is up because they made these policies, and now, that affects, like, it's a trickle down, right? But
Hmm. Hmm.
you don't see the trickle,
That's right.
because it seems like it's so macro, so
Mm.
big
That's right.
that you think that it's a 5 million, like dude lost by 2 million votes, my vote
Hmm.
wouldn't have mattered,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? But if it's that many of you guys out there that don't understand what's going on. I'm just saying like how to have like small action steps to get people informed. That would be that would be rich. Even because I have a 13-year-old daughter, I know she doesn't know
That's right.
about how things like that elections
Hmm.
work. She sees the big things like of course, like we just happen to have someone in leadership right now that's so vocal
Hmm.
that TikTok, everybody knows, you know on either side, like
Hmm.
the highlights or the low lights, you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying,
That's right.
of the situation. But
That's right.
the children know because my daughter asked me something. I was like, don't get caught up on that. Let's think about what's actually going on
That's
around
right.
here,
That's right.
and then you'll be more informed. So that's.
Mm.
Have you ever thought about something like that, or how to break it down? Because I know you talk to your son
Hmm.
probably, so the ways and ways you talk to him and how he understands it, like coming up with something that they could take in bite sizes, man. I think that would be rich.
No, I think you're right. I like to always say like politics at the local or the micro level
Mm-hmm.
matter even more so than the federal politics. And
Right.
let's be honest. So you look at some communities across the country which are banning books and subjects that are dealing with African American history.
Right.
It's an attempt to suppress the truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like me going to the doctor, and the first thing the doctor does, they look at the chart to see
Mm-hmm.
what your last visit was, or they look
Mm-hmm.
at your history
Mm-hmm.
because your history determines,
Right.
okay, how much medication I'm going to give you, or do I need to lower the dosage or
Right.
up the dosage? And so with the books, you don't want to ban history.
Right.
And so at the local level, a school board race may come down to 22 votes.
Mm. And
So,
they decide the curriculum and the things.
right.
Yeah.
So think about that. Children who, because children who look like you and I, we see a lot of the history of America, but we don't, a lot of times don't in those books get about the great things that
Mm-hmm.
African Americans and Latinos
Mm-hmm.
and people of color in general have
Mm-hmm.
contributed to the United
Right.
States, right? And so, and particularly if you only have American history for a semester, and so to
The
get
government. The
right, right.
government. Yep.
So again, to get back to your point, if a school board race, you only need, you know, I don't know, under 1,000 votes to possibly win,
Mm-hmm.
then that does make a difference because it
Yeah.
impacts my child, my family on a daily
Mm-hmm.
basis. And it's not some pie in the sky. It's not some
Mm-hmm.
unobtainable number,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're talking about a couple hundred votes. So your voice
Yeah.
does matter. And you can see the tangible results
Mm-hmm.
of something that's very local as opposed to a race where you have to win by,
Right.
1 million votes or 2 million votes or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So direct day-to-day policies
Yeah.
and decisions are determined
I like
by
that.
dozens of votes.
Mm.
So
That's interesting,
yeah,
man, because I know a lot of people, they build up like the presidential race. That's like the Super Bowl politics. You know what I'm
that is
saying?
that
It's
is.
like the Super Bowl politics, and
Mm-hmm.
they take those stances like they believe that their guy or their champion is going to wave this magic wand and just fix everything in their life. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's unrealistic,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's just, you're not thinking about what it took to even get to that level.
That's
Like
right.
even that, those politicians, but even the information, you have to just not go at the if you look at those national numbers and this and that, and you're not looking at your own community, you're
Mm.
not understanding that, okay, they saying they fixing this, but how is that now people are saying like how does that affect us locally, those big policies? So I
Yeah.
don't know, man. Like I said, I was a proponent of growing up. I never, I'm talking about never thought about
Yep.
politics. I
Absolutely.
grown like from 18 to, man, I'm not ashamed to say it, maybe 30,
Mm-hmm.
35. Never voted for a mayor
Yep.
or like we used to go, you go to the ballot for the president's race
Mm-hmm.
and then you see all that little extra stuff in there. Like
Right.
you just kind of like, just blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? You think
Right.
like,
Right.
does that name sound familiar? I'm
Right.
gonna
That's
vote for
right.
them. Like, oh, I think I know where that is. I vote for that.
Yeah.
Or that sounds like you getting a one liner. Do you agree with this? And then you kind of
Mm-hmm.
scroll and like, I ain't reading all that
a
right
lot, a
there.
lot
You
of
know what I'm
language.
saying?
They always say the devil's in the details
Yeah,
too,
for sure.
right?
So,
But
so
you're not wrong for that,
yeah.
and I'm gonna tell you why you're not wrong because I think politicians on both sides
Mm-hmm.
only come around in our communities every 4 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what's happening in the in between?
Right.
So that goes back to organizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So an organizer who's on the ground every day, trying to get access to different needs and resources in your community.
Yes.
And so I think that a lot of people are apathetic, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what you were describing, and not wanting to vote because they don't think that their vote matters.
Right.
And that's because the folks who are delivering the message, it seems disingenuous
Mm-hmm.
when you come around every 2 years or every 4 years, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to being that constant force in talking to
Right.
people in communities, and not just in urban communities, but in suburban communities, rural communities, alike. And so
Yeah.
I can see why that happens because you're just thinking, man, I'm going to work.
Right.
I'm just trying to make a check to feed my family.
Mm-hmm.
These people come around, come to my church every
Yeah.
4 years. But if we aren't doing the work and being a presence in those communities, then we can't fault people who
Right.
don't vote from age 18 to age 30
Right.
because what have you given them?
No, I like that, man. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff to think about, man. Like I said, I just think like, cause I consider myself like not political, but at the same time, I still care about things that happen in my community or things
Hmm.
that's going to affect my children or, just people that be able to exist in the world because I personally don't believe that you can legislate righteousness.
Mm,
But I think that people that have integrity or have ethics and morals, I think that they can affect change. But I
absolutely.
don't think that just a law
Hmm.
or a rule
Hmm.
or a policy
Hmm.
can necessarily. It has to. The people still have to make the changes.
Oh,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Absolutely.
Like you could say something's illegal, and that don't mean that it's gonna be illegal. It's
That's right.
illegal, but
That's
that
right.
doesn't mean it's not practiced. You
That's
know what
right.
I'm saying?
That's right.
So I think that mindsets have to change before like the world changes. So, and I
Hmm.
think the one of the things now, in my opinion, is that it's starting to become dangerous
Mm.
because people are starting to look at each other as actual enemies
Mm.
instead of just having a difference of opinion. You
Wow.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Like we should be able to like disagree without now me wanting something bad to happen to you.
It's crazy,
You
isn't
know what
it?
I mean? Like I never thought that differences of opinion or how to get the same thing done.
Hmm.
We all want similar.
Mm.
If you talk about, just take America. We all want America
Sure.
to be great. We all want America to be
That's
safe.
right.
We all want America to be productive. But like, how do we get there?
Hmm.
Shouldn't make us want to harm each other. You know what I mean?
And that's just started as of well. That's not true. I mean, it started. I mean, you have presidents who've been assassinated. You
Right.
know, whether it's JFK,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, Abraham
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln, Ronald Reagan was
They tried,
shot.
yeah.
They tried to assassinate him. So it's been around, but it wasn't a theme.
What's the thing I hit with the shoe?
he, he,
Or he ducked the shoe, you
I
know.
remember the shoe. I remember the shoe.
Yeah.
But it seems like not just violence, but a level of decorum.
Mm.
The temperature has been turned up where now you can say
Yeah,
anything.
it used to be gentlemanly. Now it's
It
like
was. It
now it's
was.
disrespectful,
And
man.
we used to think about that happening in third world countries
Mm-hmm.
where, and I hate to even use that term. So let me, countries that may have less influence
Mm-hmm.
in
In the
world,
world, yeah, I know what you're
right?
talking about.
Where political violence would happen. Like, for instance, I was doing a project over in Kurdistan,
Mm-hmm.
northern Iraq, and in Erbil more specifically. So I was there for a period of time, and they have a good number of political parties. So it's not just
Okay.
two.
Okay.
I remember one was the PKK, and this gentleman came. We were at a house, and he came. He had got stopped at a checkpoint, and some of the soldiers that were manning the checkpoint
Mm-hmm.
beat him on the head with a rifle. And I still have
It
pictures.
roughed him up.
Yeah, yeah. And so
Oh
he came in.
man.
I took pictures, and
Yeah.
his head was split because he had a bumper sticker on that was from a different or
Party.
opposition
Mm-hmm.
political party. So you've heard that happening in other nations,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's like almost becoming the new normal here,
Yeah,
right?
man.
Where you have people who are politicians who are getting shot because of the words of
Mm-hmm.
whether it's the president who
Mm-hmm.
was turning up the temperature and encouraging or inciting violence,
Mm-hmm.
or other people in Congress
Mm-hmm.
who are being irresponsible with their language. Because
Right.
listen, let's go back to mental health, you know, and not all mental health, but someone who
Mm-hmm.
may be looking to do harm to someone, they hear those words
Right. Yeah.
and it's like, let's go take him out.
Yeah,
Let's
because
go.
somebody important
It's called.
told me, whether it be on TV,
Mm-hmm.
ad or whatever, that this other guy is
Mm-hmm.
going to destroy my family.
Mm-hmm.
Then I don't want that guy around, right?
That's right.
They saying this guy is the direct threat to your livelihood, to
Mm-hmm.
your family,
Mm-hmm.
to your spiritual beliefs, to
Mm-hmm.
your way of life. So now it's like I can't stand that guy,
Yeah.
and that might not even be behind closed doors. They might get along. It's just political
Mm-hmm.
banter, or
It's all political theater most
saying
times.
WWE type, stuff with the politics, and then
It
it's like, well, I
is.
see you in 4 years. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like we go at it again.
Mm-hmm.
So well, I believe that because like I don't want to diss my wrestling fans, but it's a population of wrestling fans that think it's still real.
Yeah,
You know
they
what I'm
do.
saying? So
They do.
how do so it's I just think that, like you said, that information got to be, man, I just don't want to see be violent or be hateful,
Mm.
but because we all want the same thing.
Yeah.
Man, that's
So,
crazy.
so right before I moved back here, I was in Columbus. I had a neighbor. He was from Philadelphia.
Okay.
He and his wife had moved to Columbus. She was doing a residency at Children's Hospital, which I live a couple blocks from. And Ed was he claimed he wasn't conservative. He was a moderate Republican,
Okay.
but I thought he was pretty conservative. And
Yeah.
I tend to be more liberal,
Okay.
progressive. I like to use the term.
Okay.
And so we would have these daily debates on our porch, and we'd
Yeah.
almost get the whole neighborhood to come up and watch.
Y'all was
And
holding court.
yeah, and we would hug each other,
Yeah.
and we would go out and drink.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
We go and have a cocktail, and
Yeah.
but it was, we believed in different ideals,
Mm-hmm.
but we still loved each other
Yeah.
and liked each other.
Yeah, I like that.
I didn't want to kill Ed's cat because
Right.
because he believed in something different than I
Right.
believed in.
Right.
My goal was to try to move him closer to my position
Mm.
on a lot of things.
Yeah.
And but oftentimes, a lot of what we believe in is how we were raised.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was raised by a single mom,
Mm-hmm.
because I was a Head Start kid.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have resources for moms and children,
Right.
for families who may struggle.
Mm-hmm.
but want to be good citizens,
Right.
are good citizens,
Right.
but they just need a little bit of help. And so that influences my perspective, my vantage point, and influence my politics. But Ed, he grew up very rural,
Mm-hmm.
and so he has a whole different outlook. But
Yeah.
how do we move to some sort of agreement? It doesn't mean Ed's a bad guy or I'm a
Mm-hmm.
bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
We just have different ideas that we believe in, legitimately because of the way we were raised, um, and that's okay.
So I just would like to see one day where if the other guy wins, that don't mean you just take the whole time and try to make sure they don't get anything done. Like there's still things that benefit all of us, but then it comes to a point, or who wants credit for getting it done.
Hmm.
If I'm gonna make,
Mm-hmm.
if this guy gets credit for it for something that we all want done,
Mm-hmm.
then it's like I can't because
Mm-hmm.
now they got that done. Now they can say that when it's time to run again, we got that done, but I
That's right.
helped you get it done.
Mm-hmm.
We all got it done
Mm-hmm.
really because
Mm-hmm.
there's still, the House and everybody from different parties
Yeah.
still have to at some point work together. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until I know they have different people that control if you got more votes on your
Mm-hmm.
party than their party, but still they still have to what they call it cross the aisle or whatnot
Sure. That's
and,
right.
and come to an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
But I still I don't want to wait 12 years till my guy gets gets in power to do something we could have did
That's right.
12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that's got to be a weird dance as a politician,
Mm-hmm.
to how do you support things because you actually care about people, you actually want to see things done, but if this guy get if on his watch he get credit for it, like how
Mm-hmm.
is that going to diminish what I do?
That's right.
So
That's right. Well, I think too, to your point, um, that's why I like the term public servant.
mm-hmm.
Is if you're a public servant, you are truly serving the public.
Yeah.
But if you're a politician, you may be angling for your next job, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
to get that credit, Al,
Mm-hmm.
so you can use that as in your
It's
campaign
your leverage. Yeah.
to say, "Hey,
See what
I
I did.
I
Yeah.
got this."
Mm-hmm.
Um, Whereas if you just do the work, people recognize you got this done. You got that
Yeah.
done. Um, but a lot of folks are using that because they're already looking for their next step,
Yeah.
to ascend to. Um, hey, I want to be president of city council next, or I
Mm-hmm.
want to be mayor,
Mm-hmm.
or I think I'm going to run for Congress in 4 years. But if you
Yeah.
don't have, first you have to drop your ego. But if you're truly serving your constituency,
Mm-hmm.
um, the credit will come. You don't have to worry about
Yeah.
that.
Man, that's powerful, man.
Yeah.
So, before we wrap up, man, I know you're working on some things right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anything you want to bring awareness to, or anything you
Mm-hmm.
want people to look out for, or you know what you're thinking about, or what you're going to do pretty soon, or what you're working on that you
Mm.
can share.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's interesting. When I first moved back here, it was a number of folks who, I won't mention the name because they're all good people,
Mm-hmm.
with the best intentions, um, asked me to run for office here.
Okay.
Because they've seen my work
Mm-hmm.
at the state level, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, and I was flattered, I was honored, I was humble. Um, but it was just, that's not my path.
Mm.
Um, I just want to continue working on stuff that I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And so a couple of things that I'm working on here, that has impact more at the for the broader local and state community is one working with, for instance, the Ohio Unity Coalition.
Okay.
And that's led by a wonderful mentor of mine named Petey Talley.
Okay.
Uh, she's a genius, and she came from labor, organized labor.
Yep.
AFL-CIO, she was the first woman and African American to be in her role as Secretary Treasurer.
Mm.
So second most powerful labor leader really in the state of Ohio.
Wow.
And it was funny because I knew her from high school. I used to go over to her house. She didn't realize that because I was friends with her son.
Okay.
But once we got to Columbus, she took me under her wing,
Oh man.
and so now what we're working on, and I'm helping her to. She really doesn't need the help because she's already brilliant, but
Right.
helping her strategize around building the Ohio continuing to expand the Ohio Unity
Okay.
Coalition's reach.
Yeah.
And their goal is to make sure that they educate Ohioans, particularly working in all the urban areas,
Okay.
7 or 8 different urban areas, to get African Americans engaged in the political process.
Mm.
And what that means is through voting, through voter registration, through voter turnout, to make sure that we know what's going on at the policy level
Mm-hmm.
and to put it in forms of blogs and
Okay.
newsletters and emails,
Yeah.
stuff that's important right now. Gerrymandering, which is I should say, I'm sorry, let me back up. Gerrymandering is different from actually redistricting, right?
Okay.
So I can get into the weeds on that piece. But redistricting, Ohio Redistricting Commission is meeting right now
Mm-hmm.
to work on the maps and how the maps will look, because we have 15 members of Congress. So it's the politicians who are drawing the maps just to make sure that everybody has a fair voice.
Yeah.
And right now, out of 15, how do we get to a place where everybody's voice is represented?
Mm-hmm.
And not just at the congressional level, but at the state legislative level as well, because they draw the maps for the state House and Senate seats as well.
Okay.
And so we're working on that just to educate the public in a non-wonkish, policy weedy way, but to say how this impacts you. And so they're doing a phenomenal job. And just, for instance, she and I met with the Baptist pastors a couple of days ago here in Toledo. And just what we're doing is own your precinct.
Okay.
And what that is to get churches in particular precincts to say we own 13I or 4J,
Okay.
and we're going to work this particular precinct, the community that our church sits right in,
Right.
to, again, to go back to my earlier discussion, to make sure that the politicians who are coming around, but every 4 years, we can actually help to get folks in this precinct registered, care about the issues, and really have a voice. And that's really owning the precincts. And so we're working on that, not just at the local level, but at the state level, and then organize different groups. So it'll be a group of students. So now we're working with young people at the University of Toledo, leader who are student leaders, and we began working with fraternities and sororities, because those are natural leadership positions, if you will, and organizing young people to care about the precinct that is right next to the University of Toledo. And of course, this will be statewide. And so working on that piece, working with still doing some government affairs, lobbying work with an organization out of Columbus. And so working on that piece, but also working with an organization called Empower for Excellence. And what they do is go into and getting them networks, if you will, so we can have different agencies
Yeah.
around to complete wraparound services for families. So, Shaun, what does that mean? What is that? You just said a whole bunch of nothing. No, what we want to do is to work with young people, because EFE, or Empower for Excellence, started out by being a mental health, drug, and alcohol
Okay.
service, if you will, to help people in recovery, and the spaces of alcohol and drug use, but also mental health treatment. But now working with young people, again, so that young people can be whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so getting them into mental health services, getting free psychiatric help, and having clinicians on staff,
Yeah.
but also getting kids involved in activities that may be cost prohibitive. So, for instance, if you want to take boxing, but your parents can't afford to send you to boxing lessons, to be able to have partner groups who can provide those lessons for free,
Yeah.
to have not to pay for a football camp or a football team. I know my son's football team was $200 to make that cost prohibitive, or I'm sorry, to make that it's the word's not cost prohibitive, to maybe help pay for those.
Take that roadblock. Yeah.
Take that
financial
burden,
roadblock.
financial burden, or financial hurdle off of your family. And so to put kids in these activities, have mental health services, but also have wraparound services for the family. So partnering with like LMH, and partnering with Pathway, which is a community action agency here, to have services for families, so we can have employment or job readiness services in place, so
Workforce
that
development.
workforce development, exactly, so that we can help families, parents, both parents,
Mhm.
find jobs with livable wages,
Mhm. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And helping them in those spaces, and helping them to make sure that if their lights or utilities are in jeopardy of getting
Mhm.
turned off, to make sure those
Have
we have
assistance for that.
assistance for that as well.
Yeah.
So they're doing a wonderful job. So just working with these different organizations to um, be a helpmate.
Yeah, I
See how I
like
can
that.
be of
Yeah.
assistance to connect them to the different agencies and different partners
Mhm.
to perform what they need to perform, but also with like the Ohio Unity Coalition
Yeah, I
to
like
make
that.
sure that how do we grow? And it's all about, and if you see there's a common theme here,
Mhm.
it's about community transformation for me.
Yeah,
So I
I
want to
got you.
help
Yeah, for
transform
sure.
communities through, whether it's through Empower for Excellence,
Mhm.
but also with the Ohio Unity Coalition and through my government affairs work too. So it's all a common thread for me,
Right,
just
right, right.
transforming
It's all
communities. Yeah,
in the same wheelhouse to
it
get
is in the
done.
same
Yeah,
wheelhouse.
I like that, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, so I mean, I would like to, after we about to wrap it up, but to get with you, man, and really start to understand, how, each of us could play a role. Like, what are some things that, tools I could put in my toolbox
That's
just
right.
to understand how things working and what they say what's trending or what's the next best thing. Like I know, like you said, mental health and that's so key in our youth. And then because I work with teenage boys, so just how to just start giving them just little tools.
That's right.
They might not know how to do everything or understand everything, but them to be aware, to build that
Mm,
awareness even in them, plant that seed,
that's right.
and so that because they're going to be the ones that, you know, inherit or change this country the way, you know, the world really, because I know
Mm,
it's, people traveling so many places, man. I mean, I've traveled more probably in the last 5 or 6 years
yeah,
than, I've did my whole life because of, just awareness of, you're on TikTok and
man.
Instagram, like, ooh,
Ain't
I
that
want to go there. You know what I
that
mean?
man? That's
So,
the realest thing I've heard,
yeah.
because we only know what we know.
Yep.
And you're right, through TikTok, through Instagram,
Hmm.
through not necessarily Facebook, but those open us up to a whole world. You'd be like,
Yeah.
man, this is this exists.
Yeah.
It's a whole new world.
Yep. I want to check that out. Ooh, I want to try that.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
you hear about people going all these extravagant places that you never knew where they were, but then
Mm,
you have access.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I just want to get with you because just learn
Oh,
how
I would
to
love it.
express some things and, if any way I could be a help, and I know you have a lot of people in a lot of spheres we could sit down and talk because I just
Mm,
love that's the thing about my podcast. I love talking with people that about things that I don't have to be an expert at everything.
mm-hmm.
I don't have to bring people in just so they can start talking and I can show how much I know
That's right.
by where they talking because at some points where you talking I'm like, man. I'll probably watch this 2 3 times my own self just to be like, okay, now what did he say about how you do? So yeah,
Yeah,
so
man.
man, that's just great, man. But
And that's right. To your point, it's not how can I help you or how can you help me, but it's how can we all help each other?
yeah,
Because oftentimes we're working in silos, right?
definitely.
But I believe that the best results come from collaborative efforts.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a race
Yeah.
between me and you.
Mm-hmm.
We're all trying to get to the same
Yeah, we
goal.
on the journey,
How
man.
can we
Yeah.
how can we collaborate,
Mm-hmm.
partner, um, to be the change that we or get to the change that we envision,
Yeah.
right? And so that's what I want to do. I don't believe that it has to be Biggie or Tupac,
Mm-hmm. No, for
either
sure.
or,
Mm-hmm.
Al or Sean.
Mm-hmm.
How do we put our collective brains together? We're
Yeah.
both smart.
Mm-hmm.
We've both done a lot of work. We both want to see change. We want to, think about when I said that if it wasn't for my mom, what my trajectory would have been.
Right.
So you work with teenagers, you work with
Mm-hmm.
young people. So it's just that spark. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
guess what, Justin? This exists.
Right.
University of Toledo exists.
Right. Exactly.
Go there.
Mm-hmm.
And now, what that does, that not just changed my trajectory, but for my children and generations to follow. Just
Mm-hmm.
because she said, this is what you're going to do.
Mm.
And so, young people, I commend you. You work in a space where you are a mentor.
Mm.
You have traveled.
Yeah.
You do have these relationships and networks of different people across not just the US, but across the world
Mm.
that you can tap into. And it may just be that nudge that that young person needs. There was that Shaun Tucker who didn't
Mm.
know what he was going to do after high school,
Right.
but now have done some pretty dope stuff. I
Mm.
always like to say, this isn't me bragging, I've been everywhere from the trap house to the White House,
Yes, sir. Yes,
right?
sir. Mm.
So how do we get another young Shaun Tucker? Because I was doing a walk-in at King's School earlier
Mm.
this year, and it was all these black men that shook hands and gave fives to young people who were just
Oh
starting into
yeah. First day of
school,
school. Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
so I saw in those eyes every single kid who passed me. I was like, doctor, lawyer, engineer,
Mm-hmm.
teacher, whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
And so we want to be able to, with your young people and other young people in these communities, just nudge them, just tap them, say,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you got the intelligence, you got the grit
Yeah.
to help you on your journey. Because again, it's not, I don't believe in pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Mm-mm.
Everybody has had somebody
Help them up.
who
Help 'em.
has helped
Yep.
them out,
Everybody's been helped. Yeah.
right? So
For
how can
sure.
we work together to nudge a young Shaun, to
Mm-hmm.
nudge a young Al, to
Mm-hmm.
show them, to take them on journeys, to
Mm-hmm.
take them on trips. I remember back at UT when they used to do trips through Toledo Excel
Yep.
to Ghana
Mm-hmm.
every year, right?
Yeah.
To help young people see that a whole world exists
Outside.
outside
Yep.
of, in my case, just Central and Collinwood.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, man. Oh, that's that's dope, man. I love it. I love it. I love it,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Man, I just
Yeah,
want, man, I just appreciate you so much, man, for
man.
taking your time out
Appreciate
and
you more,
coming
brother.
and sharing a cup of coffee with me, man, and just talking, man. I look forward to all the great things you're gonna do. My goal this year, coming in 2026, is just to be more collaborative as far as like people. I mean, and just getting with people that want to sit down and want to talk and want to have conversations, man. That's what I'm about, man. I just pray that I be consistent and just
Mm.
and that people that my platform would touch or that my platform will grow to just inform more people to know what's going on just in the world with the different topics that we cover, man. And
Mm.
I just look forward to seeing all the great things you're gonna do in these next few months, these next few years, and I'll be cheering you on as always. You know what I
Same,
mean?
brother. You my brother indeed. So
Yeah,
we gonna work together to
yeah, for
to
sure,
to
man.
be to be that catalyst, bro.
Yeah, man, and just till man, we gonna keep talking off air, but I would just thank everybody for tuning in. This is your host, Alan C. Jackson, aka Two Cups. Till next time, just like, subscribe, tell somebody if you have any guests you want me to, you think will be interesting for me to view. We will travel, if we can. Till next time, Two Cups.